Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 64. Today is November the 2nd, a new month, and happy Monday to you all. We are live now here on Discord. I am very happy to give you these updates. And as you know, this call is being recorded and it's going to be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to be asking your questions on Menti while this call is happening so we can have our good Q&A session at the end. I'll pass the word now to Luca to give us the engineering updates.
Thank you, Angie. Hello, everybody. Today we are starting in a similar way to last week, so with Rosetta, the famous open source tool for blockchains integration. And I will introduce now Alberto here. Alberto, welcome. Would you like to go through it?
Yes, thanks, Luca. Okay, yes, let's start from Rosetta. Okay, the last week, the very good news is that we finished the integration of Rosetta for ZenD, and we finished also the code review. What we had to do in addition to what was already done for Bitcoin, beyond the reply protection functionality, was also the management of Coinbase transaction that is different from the Bitcoin implementation. So, for example, the fact that our Coinbase transaction must be shielded to be spent. So these had impacts on what we had to develop, but after some communication also with the in the Rosetta forum, and having studied a little bit in deeper how the Rosetta framework is designed, we find a good solution for that, and so we have been able to finish all the integration of it, and so now it's ready. Okay, and this is related to Rosetta, and big thanks to the people who work on this and achieve the result in a short time frame. Okay, related to also about last week. The last week we also recorded a new video about Zendoo, and in particular about the white paper for the prestigious Block Up 2020 conference. We were supposed to participate in person to this conference and to speak about Zendoo, but this year is not so a friendly year for conferences. So the conference has been changed to an online conference, and so we have been asked to record a video for this, and so the last week we have been working on it, and so we made a video about Zendoo that is split in two parts. One part was done by Roman Olivnikov from IOHK, and the other one by myself. So the video is going to be presented by the conference, and so I think that in the next week you will be able to see it posted by them. Okay, in parallel, we also kept working on the proving system, on the SDK, and of course on the main chain part of Zendoo. And for example, regarding the main chain part, we already started working on the certificate quality. This is a crucial thing, because this is the mechanism that make main chain able to accept even two certificates from the same sidechain, but being able to choose between these two certificates. For example, if you have a fork in sidechain, you would have these two competing fork posting two certificates, but only the one that from the sidechain consensus perspective that has the right to be eligible as the current active chain must win. So this mechanism is made it more abstract, let me say, introducing this quality parameter in the certificate, and obviously these required additional changes in the main chain, because this part was not yet being implemented, let me say, within beta. So the main chain team, started working on it, and this is another important element for the completion of the Zendu implementation on the main chain side. Always related to main chain, regarding halving, we mentioned last week about the unit tests that were completed, but and after this week we proceeded with the first code review, and some changes were requested, and so these changes are going to be finished today. So soon we will be ready for the next code review iteration, and then after the final code review stage. And by the way, our halving is happening in less than 1 month now, so it's 29 days away.
Yeah, I just posted the link if you want to check it, if you want to keep posted about the halving. That's very exciting. Thank you, Alberto.
Thank you.
I think this was almost everything. Last bullet point is ZenD, but I leave it to Angie since Angie has been in touch with all our partners and the exchanges for the upgrade to ZenD 2.0.22. Please, Angie.
Thank you, Luca and Alberto. Okay, so just a quick update, as Luca said, regarding ZenD 2.0.22. As you know, the release is out now. I'll be posting here the link again for you to check out. So this is a kindly reminder to all of our partners to upgrade, including the node operators and wallet users. Our Swing wallet release is already out as well with the 2.22 binaries. And Sphere by Horizen will be out soon as well. We'll let you know. And we have already received confirmations from our top exchanges that they are either doing the upgrade now, or they will do so in the next upcoming days. And lastly, some of the third and round notifications and reminders will be performed this week and the next one. I'll pass the word now to Alan to give us some of the node updates.
Yeah, hi everyone. Just a quick update. There are about 42% of all the secure nodes have been updated of the 38,000 that are out there, and 54% of the super nodes. So the node operators are on a good track to get their nodes updated. And we'll be sending out another reminder email probably close to the end of this week for all the node operators who have not updated yet, just to point them and remind them, point them to the instructions and remind them to get them updated before the 18th, I believe it is still. And I'll be continuing working on the tracking servers, getting old modules updated this week. And back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alan. Let's continue now with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hi, Angie. Jonathan not today here, so I'll give the update. So we've basically been working on web dev support to Martin. So we went live with a new DeFi page, and now we are working on an events page. And regarding the faucet, we've been receiving some complaints regarding reCAPTCHA, and we are going to replace it this week. And that's all for now. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Gus. Let's continue with Dean for the BD and operations updates.
Hey everybody, on the BD side, nothing to report from the integrations piece, but Caspers will give us an update on what's happening with our sidechain partners. Caspers?
Sure. So last week we carried out 8 calls with blockchain projects. In fact, 2 of these calls involved a meeting between the team leads. So we had Rob Viglione involved from our side. So these calls resulted in a meeting of the minds. So I feel that there's a good chance of formal partnerships being established in the following couple of weeks. So let's hope for that. Altogether, so far we have reached to about 150 projects now and had responses from about 40 of those. For the following week, we have scheduled further 7 calls, and we'll be focusing on kind of working with the existing leads to take them to fruition, so that we can announce something exciting in the following couple of weeks. So that's it from me today. Thanks.
Thank you, Caspers. That's it from BD. Thanks, Angie.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday and happy November. So let's start with the developer community growth as usual. We had a 0.67% increase in our early adopter program enrollment and 3.91% increase on the HD user signups. And all that brings our total develop growth to 2.87%. So steady growth as usual. And then now we have 4 episodes of the Zendoo tutorial series available on our YouTube channel, and then the episode 5 is scheduled to release on Wednesday. We are also going to release the demo part of our Zendoo webinar later today. So stay tuned. And the next one is now, the business partnership announcement we have all waited for. We have just officially announced our partnership with Celsius Network this morning. So we are working together to build a fully decentralized and privacy-preserving blockchain for Celsius. And currently, Zen is also available for staking on the Celsius platform. So this is our first and big step into the DeFi world to bring the best security, transparency, and enhanced utility to the DeFi ecosystem. For more information about this partnership, you can check out the press release on our news portal, horizen.io/news. CoinDesk also wrote an exclusive story about this partnership, which was published last Friday. So please check it out. If you are happy to see this announcement, you will be happier to know that there will be more partnership announcement coming up soon as more and more businesses are starting to build on Horizen. So definitely stick around. And as a part of our communication refining process, we are cleaning up our Discord channel, and the goal is to make it easier for people to join the conversations and improve user engagement and retention. So you will see some changes on the organization of our Discord channels in the coming weeks. And lastly, I want to give a big shout out to our community member, Michael from Telegram. He's on the call right now as well to help creating video content and promote it for us. He is also helping live streaming this very call and all of our weekly insider calls onto YouTube. So thank you so much for making our project awesome together. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Let's continue with Rosario for protein engineering updates.
Hi, guys. So as we've announced in the past with the drawdowns a few weeks ago, we are de-scoping certain activities, and I'd like to welcome community to step in. If we see something that needs to be done, please jump in and participate. And of course, Lucy beat me to this, but a great example is Michael from Telegram, who's currently streaming our weekly insiders to the community, and to make sure that we still have that visibility on YouTube. So some things may seem a little bit trivial of what is being de-scoped, but this is just an effort of really trying to look in and focus our efforts and not trying to pile in more for the team that was already exercised to the max. So this is going to be a little bit of a work in progress for us. So thank you for your patience. From an SDK as a product perspective, I want to reinforce that we're still in the early adopter phase. So as we are, we have an SDK out there, and developers can go off and extend it and build their blockchain. And we will be working on making this process a lot easier to deploy. But we're still as you've heard from Alberto, we're still in the development phase, and the SDK code is still being expanded. So once we have a stable code base, we will be applying these tools and different things that will make it easier for anyone to launch the SDK. But you could do it now. It just requires a bit more of a proof, but it's been done. And then we are continuing to refine the documentation, so that's something that's ongoing. So I just wanted to highlight this just so the community is aware that this the SDK as a product is something that is still ongoing, and the effort is going to ramp up once the development is stable. From an HL product perspective, and I'm mentioning this here as a from a Horizen ecosystem perspective. So we've announced the Celsius partnership with Horizen, and of course Horizen Labs is also part of that agreement. And we are really excited to bring DeFi to a CeFi to help meet Celsius' vision of decentralization. And of course, we're really proud that they've chosen Horizen to build as a decentralization platform. From a Horizen Labs perspective, we will utilize the Horizen Zendoo SDK and build a proof of concept to make it auditable, to verify that the amounts of money of coins being received, lent, earned, and returned from the Celsius network. And the focus will be specifically on interest for now, for the proof of concept. We are also working with other partners and customers from an HL perspective that haven't been announced. So once the announcements are made, I will provide a general update here, just from an overall Horizen ecosystem perspective. And that is it for now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Now let's welcome Rob for the leadership updates and the Q&A session.
Hello, everyone. Let's see. So I've got a few big things to talk about, and you've heard about most of it already. But as the foundation continues to downshift its operations, we are going to be cutting scope. Like Rosario said, we for sure do not want to have half the team working on the same level of work. That's just not going to work out. And we've been challenging this team for years now, and they've been operating on the margin for years, already taking on too much. And the goal here then is to right-size the scope and really focus on what's important for the foundation to continue. I mentioned this in the last Weekly Insider. I'll just quickly reiterate it for anyone who missed it. But the foundation will retain work on two core missions. One is to remain a communications hub for the ecosystem. And then also the second one is obvious, is we're going to continue work on the core engineering for Zend. And what that means as well on just the frontier work is getting Zendoo to mainnet. And by that, I mean the Zend element of it is the foundation's responsibility. So these are the two big things we're focusing on. Everything else, unfortunately, we are looking to strip away just because we don't have the resources to continue operating at the level that we were. So we have to be realistic about what we can continue doing and what has the highest impact for what we want to retain. So scaling down scope, we will have more updates for you guys as we go on what exactly is going to be, unfortunately divested from just the way we do business. And we went through just kind of a list of different things last time. I won't repeat that, but if you want at least the original ideas of what we're thinking, you can go to the last Weekly Insider and listen through on some of those. Some operations are being picked up by other ecosystem players. As an example, Horizen Labs, now that we have the semblance of a product and something that isn't a complete product yet for Horizen Labs, but something that for sure, if we onboard people into the current sidechain system, we could certainly migrate them to the Horizen Labs product. This is at least from the HL perspective and why BD is stepping up on the HL side and stepping down on the foundation side. That's just one example, and there will be some other things. Another one is Michael from Telegram. I love your nickname here on Discord, Michael from Telegram. And just one example of how the community is stepping up in other areas. So we have an ecosystem here. It's not just the foundation, and where the foundation has to scale down, it's really nice to see other ecosystem partners like Horizen Labs, like community members, ideally like the Horizen Community Council and so forth, picking up the slack and just doing different things and doing them in different ways, innovative ways. That's how we're going to keep going. The ecosystem itself continues to thrive, and we're going to keep pressing in other areas and try to just be more creative about how we do things. Now, on to the big news, and this is something that Lucy mentioned already, but if you guys missed it, and maybe you missed Lucy mentioning it, we just announced our big, long-awaited, anticipated partnership with Celsius Network. Celsius Network is the #2 lender in our industry, so this is a really big deal. And currently, they are a CeFi application, so a centralized finance application that is prolific in the crypto world. So they have an enormous volume of lending operations across their network, across different blockchains, all through their application. And what they're looking to do with us is a multi-tiered partnership. So this partnership runs deep. It's not just like we have a one-off deal with them. What we're doing, so the three pillars of this relationship, first and foremost, getting Zen integrated into their application so that the community members here can use the Celsius app with Zen and even have staking operations happen on the Celsius side, just to make it much more easy to use Zen, make Zen more useful, and just a really good thing for liquidity and people that are part of our ecosystem. But that's just the start, and it's already started where for some time now, Zen has been available to institutional clients on the Celsius side, and we're pending a Fireblocks integration on Celsius's backend to get it available for retail clients. So that's still pending, but the intention is very much to get Zen fully integrated into the Celsius application, and that's part one. Part two is more interesting for us, or at least I would say more interesting for me, because we're actually building something with them. And this was going towards our future direction, our strategy as a project. How are we going to proliferate our technology and get it actually used by people, both within the industry and outside of the industry? And the first building project that we have with Celsius is what's called a proof of reserves pilot project. So Horizen is going to create a dedicated sidechain for Celsius. Celsius will operate a blockchain within our ecosystem. The sidechain will pull data feeds from various blockchains that already are part of the lending products that Celsius offers. And this one blockchain will track everything in one place. There will be an API feed from the Celsius blockchain, this sidechain that I'm talking about, to their web portal. So currently, if you go to the Celsius web portal, you'll see literally just a database representation on the web portal of their reserves tracking it. So this is how they provide validity to their users that all funds are being used appropriately and everything is operating as it should. We're just going to modernize that as just a proof of concept and do away with the database and actually build a blockchain application that tracks all of this stuff in a decentralized way. And we will have an API exposure so that when you go to their website in the future, you will actually be looking at data that comes off of a sidechain in our ecosystem. Okay, that's just phase one of development with them. Phase two is going to get even more exciting because we're talking about extending other application functionality to this dedicated sidechain, in particular, making use of zero-knowledge proofs. And this is really starting to harness the full functionality of why Zen-Do is important and the types of things that people can do with it. So a third thing besides the listing, getting Zen into their application, building stuff with them, a two-part build process. The third thing is we're going to be doing joint hackathons with their development community and actually opening up this blockchain, the sidechain, to other application developers so that developers in our ecosystem, developers in their ecosystem could work jointly on extending functionality of the blockchain. Horizen Labs is taking lead on this, our ecosystem side to actually work with the Celsius team and their engineers to build this blockchain. And it's just the first of many. And you can see this is the first, why it's such a major announcement for us is because it's the first big deal of how we're working as an ecosystem and how our technology is going to be used. And we've been talking about it. You've heard from Dean and Casper's on the BD pivot on how we're going after other public blockchains and crypto applications to try to provide infrastructure services for them. Basically, people that want help with scaling because they have scaling issues. Maybe they're part of other blockchains where fees are exploding and they want to keep their fees down for their users. This is part of the value proposition for why people are coming over to us. We also have a high security value proposition. So basically, people are considering Horizen the blockchain for value. So if you have something that is high value operation, maybe it's we're not talking like high transaction load, very small transactions being broadcast to a network. We're talking maybe less transaction frequency, but really high value transactions. You're going to want to use Horizen. You're going to want to use our high security blockchain system. And that's a big part of the pitch that we're having to other blockchains in the ecosystem. And then the other thing is having zero-knowledge proofs as a service. This is something that we're just exploring the concept right now, but where other blockchains might not have zero-knowledge tools available currently, we're talking to them about launching sidechains with us and actually making use of GingerLib. So all really exciting things for why other projects are coming over to us. We have, I think right now, something like half a dozen other major announcements like the Celsius announcement that are in our pipeline. We have 2 currently actually working through the PR process. And if just listening to Dean and Casper's talk about their pipeline, we have about half a dozen already in the works. So more to come. But this is just a huge shift for us as a project. And now that we actually have the tools available, people are starting to build. And that's the really exciting thing. Again, this is beta. Like Rosario said, we're not trying to get ahead of ourselves and advertise how easy it is to launch a sidechain or even that we have full capability of what the future product is going to be once we get to mainnet with a zero-knowledge proving system in place. We're not there yet, but that doesn't mean that people can't start building today. And we're getting, I would say, overwhelming demand based on the percentage of people that respond to us. And then when we go into these calls and actually talk to them and explain what we're doing, overwhelmingly positive sentiment. So more to come. And I will end up with a fun conversation we had earlier today on a strategy and then product call. Did someone say NFTs? Well, we're starting to explore how we can integrate non-fungible tokens into our SDK and start and make this available to the community, to the ecosystem. If you launch a blockchain, be able to do things with NFTs. More to come on that. We're just starting to look into it and see what it really means, what the different standards are out there on the market, and gauge the effort level on how to use the current SDK to offer this type of functionality. So a lot going on in the pipeline, guys. A lot to be excited about. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows the latest. I'll stop here and we can open it up to questions.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, so the first question is, can you list 1 or 2 key features that make your project stand out from its competitors? What competitive advantage does your platform have that make you feel the most confident in yourself?
Yeah, I'll tell you the 3 that I just mentioned. So first and foremost, I look at us as building the most secure blockchain system in the world. That's where we're going. That's the mission. And I think our technology lends itself very well to making that a reality. And why I say the most secure blockchain system in the world is because it really is a system. If you want the most secure blockchain, go to Bitcoin. Like no one could argue that Bitcoin is not the most secure blockchain just based on hash power, right, or hash rate. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you want to do other things besides coin transfer and you want full functionality, like our SDK provides, maybe the full Lattice implementation would provide, you're going to want to use our system. If you have things that require high value operations, like you're putting something like your digital identity on a blockchain, you want to make very certain that you're using the most secure blockchain in the world. If you're putting property records on a blockchain, if you're putting, say, real estate tokens on a blockchain, if you're putting gold futures contracts on a blockchain, anything that you can think of that's really high value. I'm not talking about the lower segment, like lower value market segment. I'm talking about the really important stuff. You're going to want to use us. And by the system, the blockchain system, what I mean is we have what we're building here is a proof of stake blockchain with a zero knowledge proving system. So a circuit that enforces the consensus, the rules of the game, built on the largest node network in the world. So we have 42,000 nodes with a proof of work blockchain with modified Nakamoto consensus for a delayed block penalty in case of 51% attacks, and node-to-node encryption. So we have 6 features right now that make me very, very comfortable to claim that we are building the most secure blockchain system in the world. That I argue is our first and foremost most important value proposition. And then there are other things that are just that come from that. So Zendoo is massively scalable. So if you have scalability issues and not just deploying infrastructure, but making sure that the cost per user, per operation on the infrastructure remains low, maybe even declines on average over time with usage, you're going to want to use us versus other systems on the market. And then if you want to do sophisticated things with data privacy, we have the toolkit for that with GingerLib, and then different circuits that we're going to be implementing over time, not that are coming right out of the box. I don't want to represent that we're so far down the line there, but the power and the capability of Zendoo, and then the first implementation that we're doing with Lattice on Zendoo is extremely exciting. And we shouldn't undersell ourselves either. So it's always that delicate balance where you want to really get out there and scream from the rooftop how awesome what we're doing really is and how it has this extremely valuable niche in the marketplace, But at the same time, we don't want to misrepresent ourselves where, number one, we're talking about things that we're not going to be doing, or talking about things that are still like years out. So I think we're at the point now where we can finally really get out there and start making some strong claims, because we're delivering on them. We have a beta out there now, and we're looking for production middle of next year. So I'm really excited and confident with where we're going.
Thank you, Rob. Next question is, now that Celsius news is out, when can we expect next news?
Love that question. That's maybe more for Lucy. But we have 2 other press releases in the works. And I think we're just sourcing them right now to journalists. And they will go much quicker than the Celsius announcement did. This was a little bit more complex. The other ones are more straightforward and extremely exciting as well.
Awesome. Next question is, I think it's referring to BD, to the BD department. It says, when you do these calls to other projects, what type of blockchain projects do you call?
Yeah, I would love Dean to actually chime in here, because he's been absolutely killing it with Casper's.
Thanks, Angie. So we've been reaching out to all different types of blockchain projects, and we haven't limited it. We have not limited our process to blockchain projects by vertical. So we've spoken to a variety of different projects, some of them in the gaming space, some of them in the supply chain space. I mean, really everything from A to Z. And I must say, it's interesting that regardless of the particular vertical they're in, there's strong demand for what we're doing and different use cases for how they can use our technology in their existing tech stack. So to date, I guess to answer that question, to summarize it, we're working with all different types of blockchain projects in all different verticals.
Thank you, Dean. I'll grab another one really quickly. So it says, what is the ATA for Sendu to go to production?
Great question. Actually, I was just talking to Rosario earlier today about a project schedule. So we want to lock down the final design for the circuit before we actually make an announcement on the final project schedule. But we will in short order. What we're targeting is targeting development to be complete roughly around the April-May timeframe. And then we're looking at third-party audits. We're looking at find-fix cycle. We're looking at migrating from one testnet to another, just to make sure that we get the migration process down. And then we have to do the big migration to mainnet. So you can kind of piece together at least the story from there. We're targeting something like, maybe the next summer for when this is all going to be going live. And that's probably on the rosy side of things. We actually need to put together the estimates and have a better picture for you guys. But there's a lot of uncertainty there. So we still need to lock down the final design. That's in process now. Alberto has been talking about these workshops for the last couple of weeks. Those have been going really well. I think we have a great idea with performance figures that are starting to look really good. And once we actually lock that down and get into the building that final design, we're going to be putting together the project schedule, making sure we add a little bit of uncertainty into it, a risk, and then we will let you guys know.
Thank you, Rob, and everyone. So yes, thank you for attending our weekly Insider. Remember, we do this every Monday to give you all the latest Horizen updates. We wish you all a great week. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
Have a good